Alright guys, so today I just want to talk about UFC weight cutting and if there's even a point to it, because it's kind of just taken over the sport and it's like a huge part of the fights, and sometimes it's a bigger factor than the fight itself. And I question sometimes, like, should it just be taken fully out of the sport, UFC and specifically? And I know it's in boxing too and other combat sports, but yeah, just especially in MMA, it's just horrible. Like, they cut 20, sometimes even more than 20 pounds. And that's just an insane amount. Just imagine you're going into the biggest fight of your life, and a day before that, you have to cut probably maybe 10 to 15 pounds at times. Just absolutely draining yourself, dehydrated, feel horrible. A day before the biggest fight of your life. And the reason fighters do it in the first place, I think the only real reason is just to get strength and size over your opponent. That's it, because what else does it really do? Size over your opponent. So that's a pro. But all the cons are, it affects your cardio, it affects your long-term health, it affects your ability to take a punch. Half the fighters that cut a lot of weight focus more on just making the weight rather than training for the actual fight. So I think it just takes away from the actual fight itself, which isn't a good thing. And you see how it usually goes is when fighters are younger, they fight in a low division for their walk-around weight. So they cut a lot of weight in the beginning. And then usually towards the end of their career, it's a lot harder for them to do, so they just stop doing it and they move up anyway. So it's like, if they just started at a higher weight division and was able to just be healthy throughout their career, maybe they'd have a longer and more successful career. But at the same time, you look at guys like Conor, for example. Of course, he was super skilled, but he was bigger than a lot of the guys he was fighting at 145. And now, obviously, he doesn't fight there, and he probably couldn't even make that. Because, people have died from this, even. And people have been injured, people have been hospitalized, had to pull out of fights because of it. So, yeah, I think it'd be great if everyone just moved up a division and we don't fully eliminate weight cutting, because there's always a little bit of weight that you're probably going to have to cut. But I think a healthy amount would be 5 to 7, maybe 8. But I think, 15, 20 pounds is a little ridiculous. So, yeah, that's my opinion. And you also hear fighters constantly complaining about how drastic their weight cut is. Like, everyone says that. So it's like, why don't you just stop doing it? But I don't know. Like, I don't know anything. I don't know as much as them. If it really does help that much, then maybe they have to do it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a big 145. Like, how rough was that cut?
It was horrible. And it made me hate the process because my quality of life sucked. Training camps were torture. I would walk around 190.
Jesus
I'd get up to 190.
Christ.
I'd get up to 190.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. How the fuck did you make that?
I don't know. Almost died.